Isn't time crazy? Sometimes it makes things better, like the Jonas Brothers. Sometimes it makes things worse, like Frankie Jones. Some cartoons, ooh man, they age like a fine Italian wine. But other cartoons, oof. And that's what we're talking about today. All those cartoons and episodes of shows that just did not age well at all. This is a very long list, unfortunately. So without further ado, let's get talking about it. This microphone doesn't work. It's not attached to anything. Let's get this one out of the way. Obviously, we couldn't do a list like this without mentioning Lil Bill. Lil Bill was a cute cartoon, right? It had a good message. It just happened to be about a serial rapist as a child. I don't want to make too many jokes because obviously Bill Cosby's a monster. I think there's something kind of cosmically twisted that a serial rapist had like a wholesome kid show. I will say, going back and watching old episodes, some lines stand out a little more than others.
Hey, Uncle Al, I'm having private time with Mama.
Oh, that's wonderful, little Bill.
You also had another cartoon though. Let's not forget about Fat Albert. Fat Albert doesn't age well anyways. They had that horrible episode that talked about mentally disabled people in a very blunt way.
Perhaps this might clarify it better. He is retarded.
That's the exact expression I had while watching this clip, actually. But you know what else doesn't age well? All those awful celebrity Arthur cameos. Like, I get it, Matt Damon was creepy. He looks very creepy in the Arthur art style, okay? Most people do. But I'm talking about our boy Lance freaking Armstrong, the biking champion. Well, former biking champion. He turned out to have faked cancer, used performance-enhancing drugs, and lost all of his awards in merit because he turned out to be a fraud. It's so funny to see this disgraced man, like in his former Arthur glory. All the characters look up to him and talk about how great he is, and he's like a freaking superhero to them, and he just walks in and he's like, how can I help? It's just so weird in retrospect, like just kind of scary. You don't have to worry about me using performance enhancing drugs because I'm not funny anyway. There's been some pretty bad celebrity cameos actually. Milli Vanilli in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show before they turned out to be complete frauds. How about Smash Mouth and Kim Possible? Do you guys remember that? In a way, Smash Mouth is kind of more relevant now than they've ever been with all the memes, so I don't know, maybe this one does age well. Call Me a Believer. This one isn't even funny. Louis C.K. and Gravity Falls, but it doesn't age well, so I thought I'd include it here. But enough with the cameos. Let's talk about some controversial episodes. Some episodes that didn't age well so bad they had to be banned. Start with our girl Peppa Pig. Peppa, love you. So Peppa Pig did an episode called Mr. Longlegs or something. It was all about how you shouldn't be afraid of spiders, which I guess is a good message. And most of the time they're not gonna hurt you at all. Most of the time. Because in places like Australia, spiders can kill you. Quite a lot of them. Which subsequently led to this episode of Peppa Pig getting banned because it was teaching kids a wrong message. Can you imagine all these poor little 5-year-olds who were like, Peppa taught me not to be scared, and then they get bit by like a freaking like mother wolf tarantula. The blood's on your hands, Peppa. And while we're talking about not aging well, let's just throw on every single episode of Muppet Babies. What was Muppet Babies? Why are they babies? This didn't age well the second it was conceived. In the same vein though, we have Tiny Toons Adventures. They tried to do an episode about drinking, warning about the dangers of it, but it ended up with all the characters getting in a car and driving off a cliff and dying, which is incredibly dark. This is another quasi-banned episode just because it's so dark and not good. Even Dexters Lab isn't safe from episodes that age badly. They did an entire Marvel parody a few years back. It was like part of their M for Monkey series. It's called the Barbecue-nator. It was like a parody of Galactus. They had the Silver Surfer, cleverly named Silver Spooner, and he was just this offensive gay stereotype. It was not good.
I am the Silver Spooner!
Dexter, not the move. The episode is not aired anymore because it's kind of really offensive. Also, I think the Hulk was drunk or something, but that just sounds like Mark Ruffalo now, so who cares? I know this one isn't exactly a cartoon, but it's like a kid show, so it falls in the same vein, and it's just so weird, I have to tell you. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood did a 5-episode series on the Cold War. I think that Mr. Roger bit off more than he could chew here. Looking back, I don't understand why people idolize Mr. Roger. I get he's wholesome and stuff, but he comes off to me as just really kind of creepy. If I put horror movie music over any of these clips, it would just seem terrifying.
Nope. You choose the one that you think might fit in this one here.
I don't know, maybe I'm in the wrong generation. Let's talk about a cartoon that aged so badly the US government had to get involved. That's right, the old classic, kind of forgotten cartoon Rocky and Bullwinkle. Back before the days of South Park, I guess parody was a little harder to get away with because they parodied Smokey the Bear. They called him Stokey the Bear. Get it? Like stoking the flame. It's not funny if you explain it. Anyways, the US government was like not laughing. They got actually super pissed off and threatened them with copyright infringement and jail time over this parody Smokey the Bear character. They even went so far as to confiscate all of the film reel. That's how petty they were. They literally just took it and probably burned it. Oh, I just realized the irony in that. Ho's mad, man. Ho's mad. Finally, let's talk about an episode of a cartoon that aged so badly it sent kids to the hospital. I don't know if you remember this. This is a huge story way back, but there was an episode of Pokemon that actually gave seizures because of bright flashing lights and ended up sending kids to the hospital with seizures. It's a horrible story, and it's just kind of crazy to think that Pokemon could ever do that. But it's not as bad as the time that they had that whole thing with Tentacool that kind of looked like the Twin Towers, and they had to take it down. Oh, real quick, let's talk about The Simpsons. What is up with this image? I can't figure out how they did this. I know it's like a meme that Simpsons predicted the future. They literally had a poster of the Twin Towers with the words 9/11. What? How? This goes beyond a coincidence. There's a conspiracy here. At the end of the day, not every cartoon stands the test of time. I think it's safe to say that some cartoons should just be left in the past. Thanks for watching. I know I don't usually do live action, but I thought this was a funny video and I wanted to. And on a kind of live action, I'll spice it up a little bit. I'll sing the outro. If you want to consider helping out the Roundtable, you can become a member of the channel or support us on Patreon. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe. For more great cartoon content, I'm Nemo. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.